Welcome to Empire Building. I'm Wendy Papazan, and together with my 4 co-hosts, we bring you weekly unfiltered conversations about leadership, growing a big empire, and living on your own terms.
I'm Kimber Levitt-Keaty. We are investors and wealth builders with over $75 million in combined net worth.
I'm Sarah Reynolds. We are visionaries who built more than 50 businesses with over $122 million in annual revenue.
I'm Tiffany Fikes. We've led thousands of people and do it all while being pretty good moms.
And I'm Seychelle Van Poole. We are your podcast to learn how to build big businesses and even bigger lives.
Okay, welcome back, our amazing empire builders. Today, we are continuing our series that will help you build big businesses and even bigger lives. If you are listening to today's episode and you did not listen to last week, I want to encourage you to hit pause and go back to last week's episode because it's the foundation for today's episode. Okay, so what can they expect to have learned from last week? Real quick, recap that for us.
Yeah. So in last week's episode, there's a few critical things that you need to learn. Number one is to how to set expectations with a client in a longer inventory or longer sales cycle market at the appointment. The second is how to then service that client. Like, what do you need to be looking for? Like, actually, what do you need to look for? Number 3 is what is the cadence of communication? And number 4 is what specifically is the client thinking about or expecting from you as their trusted expert in whatever field you're in. We happen to be in real estate, but any field that you're in, what are they expecting from you so that you can meet and exceed their expectations?
So good. So good. Okay, so that's the foundation because today we're going to dive in to the truth about price adjustments. What to do when the market speaks. So Empower Home, we are in 10 different major markets across the country. And every single week that's going by, days on market for real estate inventory is increasing. We have some locations, the majority actually of our locations, days on market are up almost double what they were. Okay. And I know you're seeing that in Dallas as well, right, Say?
Yeah. I mean, with our team in Dallas, the fun comparison is February of 2022 is the bottom of our market. And we had 4,600 homes available for all of Dallas-Fort Worth's 7.2 million people. Like, just think about that for a hot second. Today, we have 32,000 homes available at any given week. And at this time last year, it was 25,000 homes available. So we're already up 7,000 homes year over year just in any given week.
Wow.
And growing. And so our market definitely is continuing to rise in inventory. And I think that's why you and I are so passionate about this topic is because, you know, I got in 2004, you got in 2006. We both cut our teeth in markets that were crazy and going down.
Yes.
We didn't walk into markets that were thriving and going up and appreciation and fun things. Like some of my first sellers I worked with, one of my first ones was one of the first short sales for all of Bank of America corporate.
Oh yeah. My goodness.
And they didn't have a CEO, you know, or like they didn't have a short sale department. And it was a high up executive. There was a Bank of America executive. And they hadn't told their spouse that they weren't paying their bills. And we found all of that out at the table. And I was like, oh, great. This is like one of my first sellers. I guess this is just normal. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it last week, right? That like, if you have not been in the real estate industry, if you got in 14 years or sooner, this is all new for you. This market is new for you overall, like nationwide. I know every market is different, obviously. So we're going to dive in. Okay. And this is something that we both are extremely passionate about because, as Say said, this is how we learned. This really is all I knew for many years.
Yeah.
I mean, many years.
It was my first 7 years of business. This is all I knew is the things we're talking about today. And I think you and I were talking about before we even started recording, like, I feel so fortunate to be leading a team right now. And I know you do too, having had this experience from before, because we're getting to pour into our agents who have been in the business a long time, but maybe not quite to the 14 plus year level. We're getting to bring out things that we haven't used in almost 15 years or more. That's amazing.
Yeah, those agents with Van Poole Properties and with Empower Home Team are lucky turkeys, as Seychelles. They're lucky turkeys.
You lucky turkeys.
You lucky turkey, you. Okay, no, but for real, like this is, so if you get out your pen and paper if you're in a safe place. This is probably an episode you are going to want to share with your team. You're going to want to share with other agents in your office, because this is the one thing. Because number one rule for what we're going to talk about with price adjustments is you have to understand that price is king. So number one, price is king. Okay. You cannot outmarket a bad price.
Oh, completely.
So you need to understand. So let me take you back. Okay. It was the year 2008. I've been an agent for 2 years. Okay. In 2008 is when the world now understood that we are in the Great Recession. Okay. The real estate market was experiencing the largest recession in their history. Okay. And we had been experiencing it since early 2007, but the world didn't know, and it wasn't public yet that what was happening. Okay. And we had 8 active listings. So it was me, my mom, and an assistant. We had 8 active listings, and we felt like we were hot stuff.
You were hot stuff. I mean, you think about it. For most real estate agents, 8 is it actually
That's a lot of listings.
It's a good number. Yeah.
Yeah. We had never had 8 active listings before, and our whole whiteboard in our office was filled up. And I remember coming in with it filled up, thinking like we were we were on it. Our business, in my mind, was growing because we had 8 active listings. Then 30 days went by, and those same 8 still had the same status of active. Okay. So our problem wasn't that we had 8 active listings. Our problem was that the 8 active listings stayed 8 active listings. Like, they did not move. So nothing was selling. The market halted. Okay. Nothing was selling. We panicked. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We tried everything. We paid this company to deliver flyers to every brokerage around us. We did direct mail. If you can think of a marketing thing to do for your listing, we did it. We tried it. We did it. Okay. Another 30 days went by, still active. So houses just sitting. We didn't know what to do. And then, thanks be to God, honestly, I view this as God's timing over our business, because what ended up happening is Gary Keller and Jay Papasan wrote the book Shift.
Yep.
Before it was out, they actually went on a tour.
Yeah.
Okay. That month, the tour was in Virginia. And my mom and I we drove an hour and a half to the session to learn what to do. And in that talk, they taught us that price is king. It doesn't matter the marketing. You could literally pay an airplane to shine a light down on your listing.
Every night.
Every night. Okay, you could pay for a TV commercial to highlight the listing. And if it's not priced correctly, it does not matter. You cannot outmarket a bad price. Okay, so today we're going to talk through, how do you get that price adjustment, given that 90% of marketing is price? Okay, what do you do? I learned it the hard way. I took action, and we were able to sell 7 of our 8 listings. 7 of our 8 sellers listened to us and made an adjustment. The one seller that doesn't, and this actually haunts me to today. I'm so passionate about this topic. I'm sure you guys can hear it. And poor Say, she can't even get a word in. Okay, now.
I'm just over here nodding. It's such PTSD for me.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, yes, preach, girl. Yes, I'm with you.
So the one seller so we came back and we called all of our sellers and we told them what to do. We felt confident. We knew now what to do. Okay, it wasn't new flyers. It was price. So we called all of 8 of our sellers. 7 of them made an adjustment, and we got 7 of them sold. 1 did not. The one seller that did not literally haunts me, because I think to today, if I had the skills of what we're going to teach you today, okay, if I had these skills of how to talk with them, I could have saved them $130,000. Because what ended up happening is they fired us because they thought we were wrong.
You were the wrong ones.
We were the wrong ones.
They were perfect.
They were, yep. They went on the market with another agent. They ended up hiring 3 other agents. It ended up selling for $130,000 less a year and a half later than what we could have gotten them had they have adjusted.
Yeah. And you know what? It is like, Sarah, you and I, actually, your Dallas team and our team both have a seller that we both tried to help. They were listed in the $3 million category. We started at 4. We dropped them down to 3.8, got an offer at 3.65. They refused to take it. They're now under 3 million.
Yep.
And still sitting. Your team did the same, tried to take it.
Yes.
They wouldn't listen. They're now on their third or fourth agent, and they have cost themselves $650,000 and counting because they are unwilling to be realistic with where the market is. And so when the market tells you what is happening, it is very important that as their expert, you can use our stories. Use our two stories here. If you don't have any of your own, you need to be able to tell a story of a person. Ours is Hampton Court. Let me tell you a story of Hampton Court. And poor Dan had the same situation with that darn seller that we did. And they're great people. They just did not want to be in reality on the market.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at this, you really need to understand that your system with how you're going to deal with price, it starts with data and it starts with communication. And in the last episode, we talked heavily about the cadence of how you want to communicate it. But I'm going to tell you right now what you want to look at so that you know when the market's screaming at you, you don't have those like noise canceling Bose headphones on, not listening. So the process actually starts before the conversations that you're having with clients because you need to know your numbers. And if you're sitting there with 14 days and no showings, what that is actually going to tell you, and I would say you want at least 2 weekends on market. That's really what you're looking for, at least 2 weekends on market. If you have no showings, that is the real estate agents telling you, this house is too high and I'm not even sending it to my buyers because it's a waste of my time and theirs. I'm not even going to get in the car to come show your house. Okay.
Yep.
So that is what happens if you have more than 2 weekends or 14 days and no showings. It's literally the agent saying, don't waste my time. This is ridiculous. Now, if you go 2 weekends or 3 weekends and you've got 10 showings but no offers, what that data is telling you is that the buyers are coming in. They're going, thought about it. You looked cute, but nope. The condition, the price, the location, something about it does not feel like a deal. I don't want to jump off on this. And so that's the buyers telling you that.
So good, Say. And one conversation framework around that is they saw enough value to come see it. We got 10 showings. Okay, so they saw enough. So we're actually doing pretty good. Okay, we're getting more showings than other houses. Okay. And what this means is that they're seeing higher value in other homes. And so we just need to get at a value that buyers want to actually write an offer.
Yep.
Okay. Right now, they're writing an offer on other houses.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's right.
So
when I think about it too, of like, I might walk into Nordstrom's and try on a dress, and then I might look at the price tag and be like, this feels like a $100 dress, but it doesn't feel like a $295 dress. Or it feels like a $100 dress, but not a $150 to $200 dress. If it went on sale, I'd buy this in a heartbeat. But at retail pricing, this is not the absolute perfect fit that I feel the most amazing in right now to buy it. That's what buyers are doing inside a home. If the price is not in alignment with the floor plan, location, condition, value that it's in. They're trying it on, but literally not walking out of the store with it.
So good. I love that analogy. That's awesome.
It's
What's
so
the
true,
third
though.
category for data?
The third part about that is if you've got 30 days and no offers, then you need to be aware that that is essentially the entire market, both realtors and the buyers saying, we have an issue. It's either condition or it's price. And oftentimes, if you've already been on the market, changing the condition of it, unless it's a drastic change, is probably not going to address it. So you really need to then be aware that it's probably a price issue. And if you're 60 days and still on the market, like Houston, we have a problem. If we have not made adjustments by 60 days, I need you to go, everyone listening, go back and look at your listings. If you have anyone at 60 days and you guys haven't been like having these conversations and working towards major adjustments, now. The time is like literally right this second. Like pause and go do that.
Yes. So 14 days, no showings, 10 showings, no offers, 30 days, no offers, 60 days still on the market. The market is speaking. Okay. The market speaks in these categories. Now, these categories were designed actually during the Great Recession by myself and Debbie and other agents like Seychelles in terms of tracking. Okay. You sort of want to know if you don't make an adjustment, you're going to get fired.
Yep. And you're going to be behind. You're going to chase the market is the other problem is you wait too long. Now let's say you wait 60 days before making an adjustment. The problem is every other seller who's having these conversations made adjustments at day 14, 30, 45. So now you're 1, 2, 3 steps behind. Think about yourself in a relay race and you're sprinting and the runner next to you gets an extra 3 lengths ahead of you. What do you have to do? You got to run that much faster. You got to make that many more big price reductions to catch up because they're way ahead.
Oh my God. This is gold, you guys, from Seychelle. These analogies. Oh my goodness.
It's true, right?
It's so true. And saying this to your clients and using a different analogy other than real estate helps you understand, right? It helps them understand because the key in this kind of market is they must lead it. They cannot follow it. Right? And you've got to listen to what the data of the market is telling you, and they do too. Okay, we don't control it, right? And you're going to say that over and over again to them. Okay, our job is to interpret it. This is what the data has said. Okay.
I'm not in control of the real estate market. And the one thing I will tell you with this is you cannot walk into these conversations with a baseball bat and smack the client over the head. So go back to the last episode where we talked about the cadence of communication. We won't drag you through that again today, but we talked you through the cadence of communication and how often you need to be communicating because that's what builds the trust and rapport to then be able to earn the permission to help them interpret the market. If you're not communicating regularly, you just need to be aware you're bringing a baseball bat to that conversation, and that's not a kind way to have this conversation. So go back and listen to the cadence and then use what we're telling you here today in order to be able to have those conversations.
People don't care how much you know. They don't care about the data unless they know you care for them first. And that's what that episode was all about. Okay, so you need to understand that price is king and that you cannot outmarket a bad price, okay? If your listings are not selling, it is price, period, okay? Number 2, as Seychelle said, you want to start with data and communication, okay? And then number 3, let's talk about the conversation. Okay, so you've got the data. You know that the house is not selling. Now it's time to have the conversation. So the first part of the conversation, and I think it's critical to start on a positive note, okay? It's critical to start on a positive note, okay? So you're calling them, and they need to hear your voice, okay? They've got to hear your voice, okay? So this is a call and or an in-person, okay? So you want to call them, and you're going to say, good news. I've got good news, okay? Our marketing is working. Why I learned to start with this is that it's human behavior to cast blame, right? Remember, you were hired to sell the house.
And
right?
it's not sold.
And it's not sold, okay? So it's natural. Don't be upset that they're blaming you. It's natural for them to blame you, okay? And how you talk to them is powerful to avoid blame.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I learned the hard way. So listen to us. Literally, Seychelle and I have probably spent $1 million on education on this topic.
Oh my gosh.
And if you listen to this, you don't need to spend that. Okay.
Yes.
You just need to follow our lead. Okay. Because I learned to say, good news, our marketing is working. And what I look at is if you have no showings, what you say is good news, our marketing is working. We're getting more views than the competitor listing. That tells us that our marketing is working. But buyers aren't seeing enough value to schedule a showing. Based on the market behavior, we need probably about a 5% price adjustment to drive showings. But you're starting with good news. We're getting more views. And my goal always is to get more views. So whatever you need to do to be able to say that truthfully, you need to do it. Okay, so I'm not suggesting lying.
Like fake data. Right, yeah.
Yes.
It's not fake data. Like go find real data. And you can, I always say, somebody can be first at something. You can figure out a way to be first at something. So go find what you could be first at in this.
Yes. Okay, so good news, our marketing is working. If you have no showings, that's what you say. If you're having showings but no offers, okay, good news, our marketing is working. Buyers are coming in the door. I talked with other agents that have active listings and we're getting more showings than they're listing. So that means our marketing is working, okay? It means we're actually really close. I always tell sellers, this is the best category to be in. Showings but no offers is the best category to be in because typically that means that we're just 2 to 3% off on price. We need to make a small adjustment and that small adjustment will actually get us into offer territory.
I love that. That is so gold right there. Like if you just heard that, go back and re-listen to that and write that down. Because verbatim, that is a beautiful way to approach both of those. It's awesome.
Yep. So good news. Share the good news. And that's the conversation framework for how to handle the next part of the conversation.
I love that. The second part of the conversation is to let them know that it's actually not us, it's the market. Because ultimately, like we talked at the beginning, we cannot outmarket a bad price, right? We cannot outmarket a bad condition if the price doesn't align. So what we then say after that is, this is not us. This is not your home. This is the market telling us what we need to do next. Okay.
And I think that's also so much compassion in that, because they either blame you or they blame their house. Like they think something's wrong with their house.
Of course.
And like I love my house, and like the thought of me thinking something's wrong with it, like it just that makes me so sad. Like that sellers right now are thinking there's something wrong with their home. And so telling them that it's not their home, that's one of the highest levels of compassion for them. Like to get that thought out of their head that
I love that.
There's not something wrong with their house. Okay. It is the market. Okay. The market's the enemy, not us, not the house. The market is the enemy.
Totally. Yeah. And we are a team against the market.
Yes.
Right? We together. It's not me versus you versus the market. It's us together versus the market. And I love that when you say, that you bring compassion, right? Because then the next part you say about this is, my job is not to determine the market. It is to interpret the market, right? I've tried before. I can't go force someone's head on the table and make them buy your house. Like it's just, they're going to find a way out. There's no way to do that. So we need to interpret the market to know what we need to do to get to the next steps.
That's right. Many times I add to that, this is the hardest part of my job. So interpreting it and sharing what you might perceive as bad news is the hardest part of my job. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't interpret it.
I love that.
So, let's look at what the market's saying.
I even say too, like I care enough about you and your success that I'm willing to have this conversation with you. And I want you to know that there are homes in your neighborhood where their agents are seeing the same thing, but by omitting the truth or by not understanding what the market is saying, they're actually lying to their clients right now about what's going on.
Yes. That's so good, Say.
And I care too much to do that to you.
Yep. Okay. So our marketing is good news. Our marketing is working. Second, it's not us. It's not your home. It's the market. And my job is to interpret it. Okay. Next is you want to then actually close for the actual price adjustment. So what you don't want to do, is you don't want to let them decide. Because what they're going to do, and we're going to talk about objections here in a second as well, but what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, let's adjust $1,000. Let's adjust $5,000. And you want to do your best to lead them. Okay, so based on what the market is saying, I recommend that we adjust to $475. Okay, so let's say you're at $500. You want to get down to a category where more buyers will see it. Okay. So tell them where they need to go. Don't let them guess.
If you look at where homes have gone under contract in the last 30 days, oftentimes it's a very key indicator. Like I was on the phone with a client this last week that was listed at 900 and homes were not going under contract until they hit the 825 to 850 range. So the conversation with him, right, was like, hey, we're listed at 900 right now. Buyers not even willing to like take a bite out of a house until it's at the 825 to 850 range. So in order to even get into the running, into the consideration, what we're seeing in your area is that homes aren't even going under contract. We don't know what that end price is, but we're not even in the ballpark until we get to that. So take a look at where like the under contracts and pendings are hitting, where their list price is, because oftentimes that'll give you kind of a real-time data of where that target is that you need to be at.
That's so good. Okay, so you want to look at that data of what price is causing it to go under contract. You want to also look at what's your competition, current competition. Because sometimes what can happen is the data shows that 30 days ago, they went under contract at 825. But right now, you've got
Everyone's
two competitor lists. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no. Right? You want to make sure that you are looking at your competition and making sure that you're leading versus following, right?
Okay. I think that's great.
You tell them exactly based on what the market is saying, this is where we need to be based on what the market is saying. It's not you saying it. It's the market. Okay. And then you want to handle objections. Okay. So the most common objection to a price adjustment is, I hear you. Okay. Why don't we just try? Okay. Let's just try $5,000. Let's just try what I call a wimpy price adjustment, right?
It's a paper cut. It's a paper cut.
Yep. So the response for the objection. So once you've guided them, right, to where they need to go and they object to it, okay, then you say this. There are two reasons for a price adjustment. And really, there's one major reason, and that is to reach new buyers. Okay. My regional director of sales of the West region of Empower Home, Brian Kritz, shout out to Brian. He says, okay, if they say, like, let's just do 5,000, okay, and you need them to be at 825. So this example that Seychelles said, okay, you need them to be at 825. And they say, no, let's just go to 869.9. Okay. Instead of saying a price adjustment, you're going to say, if I hear you right, you want me to eliminate all buyers at 825 from marketing of your house. Instead of saying price adjustment, say you right now that would be eliminating. So buyers right now that are searching up to 825 do not see your house. And so we want to no longer eliminate them. Let's get to the price to where they can actually see it. And what many times happens, when you get to the right price, even in today's market, you will get multiple offers at the right price. And so what can happen sometimes is that you get to 825, the price that they need to be at, you actually end up getting multiple offers, and then they bid it higher than the 825. Okay, so let's get to a new pool of buyers. Okay, so you want to tell them, making a $5,000 price, it's actually better for us to say it priced at where we're at than it is to make a wimpy price adjustment.
Yeah. What happens if you make a paper cut? I would say a paper cut of a price adjustment. I love the wimpy. But like with a paper cut, I say, okay, we need to make a huge change. And what we're going to do is just do tiny little paper cuts every week of $5,000 until you eventually get there. And then what's going to happen is buyers are going to go, oh, well, they did 5, and then 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 they did 5. And I'm going to wait, because they're going to do 5 again next week, and I'm going to wait, and they're going to do 5 again next week. You're literally telling the buyers, don't buy my house, because I am going to literally paper cut myself to death until eventually I'm so low you'll get to me. But it's sending the complete wrong message.
Yes.
Versus what the seller actually thinks they're saying.
Yeah, and you think you're doing something good by at least getting a price adjustment. The truth
you're
is,
like,
is
I
you're
did
actually,
it.
Yes,
I did it.
yeah. The truth is that you've done 90% of it. Don't allow them to make paper cut adjustments that will eventually hurt them from getting more money. Okay, it's literally causing harm. Allowing them to make paper cut adjustments is causing them so much harm. So don't do it. Don't allow it.
Sometimes you are still strong and your seller is still very stubborn. It happens, right? And so one way that we have found in our market to be able to help with that, this strategy does two things. Number one, it allows the seller to have the peace of mind that they're not leaving money on the table, which is ultimately what they are afraid of doing by making a bigger price reduction. And the second thing it does is it does not waste a lot of time. And so what we will do if the seller is absolutely adamant, let's say in this case, it's still the $900,000 house, we got to get down to 825, and they want to go to 865. I will say, here's what we're going to do. Sarah, the seller, we're going to go and make a private offering to every single buyer that has seen your home, a reverse offer, or you could say a private offering, a private buyer incentive of your home at 865, and they have 24, 48 hours, 72 hours to respond and bring an offer if they want to move on it. Okay. What that is doing is that's testing everybody that's seen your home and said, if you loved it and this would move the needle for you, this would get them off the fence. Okay. If in X amount of time and that deadline goes by and we've reached out to everyone and no one's bringing an offer, guess what that means? We have to change the price more than that and we have to go public.
Yep.
But it allows them a very short window to try theirs first and have peace of mind they left nothing on the table, and then they move forward with your strategy. And so if you need to do that, that's a way you can do that and get everybody on board.
What I love about that strategy, is because it's private, it doesn't hurt them, right?
Yes.
So like as Seychelles said, buyers will see the little price adjustments and then they look at that as an opportunity to take advantage, right? To get a better deal. And so the seller ends up hurting. Whereas following Seychelles' strategy that she just shared is not public. So this allows for them to truly get the most amount of money. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
This is a practice thing. The more times you have these loving conversations, the easier it gets. But just don't paper cut yourself to death, because the problem is you get anxiety now talking to your client every week. And guess what? They get anxiety around it too. So instead, by having the hard conversation every 14 to 30 days instead of every week with these little things, it's actually going to make your relationship better with your client too.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next part, which is let's close the deal on this.
Yes.
So once they're on board, don't hesitate. Move into action. Get them going. Don't say I'm going to send it to you next week. Have the paperwork ready before you call them or meet with them, so that way you can send it right away. And you can say, great, I'm going to send this to you right now. And as soon as I get it, we're going to relaunch your home and let everyone know who has any potential interest in your home that we have made a change, and it will be marketed to new buyers as well. Does that sound good to you? Send it off.
Yes. So you want to take action as quickly as possible. Okay. What we're going to do next. Okay, so after they're like, okay, you're right, let's go to 825. Okay, now what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna send over the adjustment paperwork. I need you to sign that as quickly as possible. And then we are going to remarket the house. And I feel very confident that with this adjustment, that we will lead to getting more buyers and more interest, and we will get closer to getting your house sold. So you want to be firm on what's going to happen next and move quickly. High sense of urgency really matters. One little gold nugget that I remembered from the archives, I found this from the archives of 2009, okay, is when you send the amendment for a price adjustment, also amend the expiration date of your listing agreement.
Ooh.
I forgot that we used to always do that, because now that we've adjusted, we need 30 more days to make sure that we market it correctly. And so now that we're at the better price. So in the amendment paperwork, also amend that. So then that gives you more time, and then you don't lose the listing right after you did the hard work.
That is gold. We don't do that right now. I love that. We are totally doing that. That's amazing. Thank you for that.
I forgot that that's what we used to do. And when higher days on market, it's all in a game of making sure that you keep the listing that entire time, okay, to make sure you get it sold. So I forgot we used to do that, and just remembered this week. So I want to share that with our listeners. Last but not least, okay, you want to end the conversation with compassion, with knowing that you are on their team. So thank you for trusting me with your home sale. I want you to know, I know that this was a hard conversation. I want you to know I'm committed, me and my team are committed to being the very best to get your house priced and sold. Okay, we will get you to X, whatever their motivation was. Like if they're moving to another state, if they're relocating, if they're getting closer to their grandkids, if they're getting closer to their parents, like whatever was the cause of the move, bring it up and say, I want you to know we are committed. Thank you for trusting me and my team with your largest asset, your home sale. And I want you to know we are fully committed to doing the best job we can at getting it sold. And I feel very confident with this decision that we're going to get there. Okay. So end with compassion, with strength, and making sure that they know that you care about them and that you're on their team.
I love that. I think that's awesome. And pro tip on this as well is go ahead and send in an updated net sheet at the new price and a couple tiers below that, so that they can see what the estimated net is going to be as well. So that way when offers come in, they don't have a sticker shock freak out thinking that they're back at the $900,000 price that they thought they were at.
So good. So good. Well, guys, how we build big empires is truly one honest conversation at a time with our clients. And so much comes down to this. Say and I were talking about before we started recording, so much of business right now is in the details and the tactical things that we're doing to build our empire. So I want to encourage you to get out there, lean in to these difficult conversations, because that will lead to you building bigger empires. And then, of course, don't ever forget about that big life that you're building as well. So if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, post it on social media, share it with someone else in the industry. Tag us. Tag Michelle and I.
We'd love to see it.
Yes, we would love to see that this made an impact on you, because that's why we do it. Okay, we're not getting paid big bucks to do this. We're getting paid $0. Okay, we do this to help our industry be better and help you build a bigger empire. So we want to hear if we made an impact on you today in your business. Please share with us. It keeps us going on those harder days. So
we do love it. All right, go out there and build your big business, guys, an even bigger life. Bye, guys.
Bye.
This podcast is for general informational purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions of the guest represent those of the guest and not KWRI and its affiliates, and should not be construed as financial, economic, legal, tax, or other advice. This podcast is provided without any warranty or guarantee of its accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or results from using the information.